very much, Barry, for inviting me. And I do talk about trust. And we are based here in Canterbury on the Great Field. Some of you might know Pavilion in the Park. But predominantly we are a youth charity that works across the whole country to basically intervene early and support young people aged 8 now, I'm very sad to say, right through to the age of 25, to make safer, more informed choices around things like vaping, cannabis, ketamine, sometimes alcohol. We talk about drink spiking, county lines, grooming, all those things. The Thomas Hardy School with their year 9s and with their sixth formers. We work with the Atlantic Academy in Portland, one of the most deprived communities, not only in Dorset but in the UK, with the wonderful 0 to 16 school. We've developed with the Police and Crime Commissioner a fantastic drug, alcohol and nicotine education toolkit, which is free for all Dorset schools. So later I'll be talking to the, they're called the Coastal Heads, which is the BCP, Bournemouth. But we do it, what I want to say is we do it in a very positive way, and I also want to say that things aren't getting worse, and it's really, really important that we know that. So when I founded the charity 15 years ago, alcohol was absolutely the first substance of experimentation amongst our children. And you may remember that vertical culture, sort of binge drinking culture we had over. I'm very, very pleased to say, and underage drinking has halved, and binge drinking, now it's called the sober curious and damp drinking. So alcohol is very much part of people's lives, but in a much more responsible way. And I'd love to say that we've been part of that journey in the last 15 years. Cannabis, would anybody like to guess? Well, actually, I'll tell you. So we have about 14,000 under 18-year-olds who seek or are able to seek treatment. So actually it's only the tip of the iceberg, if anybody of you. So 87% of the under 18-year-olds who need help is due to cannabis, and that's because it's got so much stronger. So some of you might know that THC is the psychoactive element in cannabis, whereas CBD is the more benign one that we see in medicinal cannabis. And THC levels have grown by more than 7-fold in street cannabis. And also because a way has been developed of making synthetic cannabis, which is called spice, which is much, much cheaper, it is added to the mix. So another thing we have is around problems with nicotine, because we have had this conversation earlier. Vapes, some of you might have seen these giant puff vapes, 6,000 to 9,000 puffs, equivalent of 100 cigarettes in terms of nicotine content in one device. 6 vapes confiscated in schools across the southwest was found to contain spice. And the young people had no idea. They don't know that's what they're buying. I just mean, so there's always something to do, as you can imagine, but what I want to say is we do it in a very positive way, getting the young people to have a few facts, but it's not about lecturing. We get them to come up with what we call the resilience strategies about why there might be better choices. So we also train teachers, we work with police officers, we work in children's homes. The other thing I wanted to say is that 1 in 5 children really are not in mainstream school. So we work with special schools, alternative provision, and the most vulnerable children. So nearly all children who are swept into county lines have been excluded from school. So we also do a huge amount of work to stop young people being excluded from school. In your classroom, but the worst thing you could possibly do is have that child out on the street without supervision. So it's a big, big job. We also work with parents and carers, but it's something I'm as passionate about today, 15 years later, as I was when I founded the charity. I have a wonderful team of just 13 part-time staff. And believe it or not, we support 1,000 settings across the UK every year, and we keep it free of charge. Okay, so we raise money from holding different events. We've got 2 this year for our 50th birthday, and I have got some literature if you're kind enough to read that or take that. Or the Dorset Council offered us a space. We could have taken over a youth club. But one of our discussions was with the Duchy to take over the Jubilee Hall, those of you who know it, because they just wanted a charity to take the bookings, and we could have had a free space. Great, that'll work. And then actually Ben said, oh yes, we've just had this consultation about this new park that we're building, and they don't want a bandstand, they'd actually like a shelter and loos and supervision and refreshments. Would you like to take that on? So we had to raise, we thought it was going to be about 150,000. We actually, in the end, the whole build cost and fit out cost of £350,000. And we did that with help. We had some Section 106 money, and we had some grants to make it a totally green build. We have a digital help club every week. We have a book club. We have a Christian fellowship group that was just run from the building.